Hello everyone, this is an example from the chapter, the exercise from the chapter. In the end of the chapter, this is one of the problems that you can be solving by yourself. There is quite a bit going on there, so make sure you stop the video and read this problem 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And after you do that, we discuss. Okay, here is what I see in here. There seem to be two programs here. Second program decodes what the first program encodes. And the process for encoding is there is a dictionary that replaces letters with other letters, and the output for A will be percentage sign, for little a will be 9, and so on. You can also see that these programs work with a file. Each program should open one file and create another file for the outcome, for the results. So there is a lot going on there. I don't want to worry about the files. With files, it's like boring API. Just open a file and write to another file, read from a file, write to another file. So all that stuff. And let us think about coding and decoding. So I made an example with only encoding symbols A, B, and C. A is encoded as 1. That is a key value pair for our dictionary. B is encoded as 3, and C is encoded as 4. And for future reference, I want decodes. So 1 is decoded back to A, 3 is decoded back to B, and 4 is decoded to C. An important point here, does it always work that for any dictionary codes I can do decodes? For now we don't really need decodes, so don't worry about it. I created a constant message for me to test my code. And first of all, how can we iterate through the message? We want to take one symbol at a time, and then we want to replace it as per the dictionary. So for char in MSG, print char. Char. And that should work, and that should show you how to iterate through a string, letter by letter. Okay? Alright, nothing to write home about. Now, instead of just printing, I want to encode it. So I need my result, like encoded message. I will initialize it as empty, and while I'm working with these characters, I'm going to do plus equal char. What will that do? Of course, it will copy the... Oh yeah, I should print encoded message. Of course, it will just print the encoded message. No encoding was applied to it. Alright, so how do we apply it? Take a moment, think about it. This is a crucial point. If you know what to do right here, right now, then you understand the dictionaries a little bit. Of course, coded char. Codes. Okay, I got my encoded message, and now we can apply the decodes to decode that message in a very similar way. So instead of codes, I would use decode, and instead of message, I will be decoding the encoded message. So I could copy paste and modify and it would work, and if you're a beginner it may be a good idea to do that. I'm not going to do that really, because I can use functions def and code. As parameters there will be a message and there will be code, and correspondingly I need to indent this tab. Encoded message char in MSG, it's no longer constant, and encoded message equal to code, this parameter, be careful here, char, and instead of printing I have to do something else because I want to be using the results of this function later. Okay, return encoded message. Right, and how do we check that it works? I want to print encode capital MSG and codes. So codes is the code I want to apply to my message. It will of course work in the same way. And why was I busy doing having this function? Well, let me copy paste and modify it yet again. It will be a variable enc, and enc is equal to the output of this function. Now if you're following along, stop this video and think how you can use this function to decode. Alright, I'll say decode equals to encode enc with decodes, of course, and print decodes. So we should be getting original function. So I applied the same function encode to the encoded message, and for dictionary I took the decodes, so with any luck I get my original message. Yes, I do. This is the main logic of all these programs. Okay, one more interesting and nice idea. Decodes here were really me manually reversing the dictionary. And that is tedious and error prone. As I was saying in the beginning, these codes should be a very long, very long dictionary with like 50 symbols easy, 60, 70, and key value pairs, and that is too long. So I don't want to do it manually, I want a function to do it. Okay. My function will be called reverse dictionary, and it will take a dictionary as an argument, and what we will do, I'm going to iterate through the items and reverse the order. So my new output dictionary reversed dictionary equals to empty, and then in a for loop and as I'm using dictio.items, I'm going to unpack them in this way. Key value in dictio, that's my dictionary, items, and help me complete this code. Pause if you need to. Ref d of something equals to something. Think, what should I do here? Value and key. And of course I need to return this dictionary. So now my decodes doesn't have to be manual. It can be reverse dict codes. For better structure, maybe I want to keep constants up front and then functions and then what will eventually become the main. Okay. So maybe I want to change the ordering to this. So encode, message code. So for decodes, I can use reverse dict code, and you could just plug it in here instead of having a separate dictionary. So I believe this is the hard part of my program. So I have some codes. I have a test message which I'm using to debug and test my code. I have an encode which takes a message and takes a dictionary, applies the dictionary to the characters of the message, and creates a new message iteratively. And another function I currently have is reverse dictionary, which reverses the key and value pairs. So I can even print my dictionary for clarity. And question to you, does it work always for any dictionary? The answer is no. Alright, so this is my reverse dictionary as expected. And why is the answer no? Let me create a dictionary which is 1 corresponds to 2 and 3 also corresponds to 2. This is an OK dictionary. So keys are 1 and 3, values are 2 in both cases. And of course, when I try to do reverse dictionary, it cannot quite reverse it. Capital D. Oops. So because the value was the same for 2 keys, the second time, as it was iterated, the second time it saw the value 2, made it a key, it wrote over the previous one. So one of the pairs was lost because of overwriting. But in our case, since we want our code to make sense, we need one-to-one correspondence between keys and values, so our reverse will not lose anything and actually is able to reproduce the original message. Okay, this is the main logic of the file, and all we have left to do is to play with the